Blog Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? This the Freight Train. You listen to the Nerdy30s Podcast show. All my fans out there, I'm glad to be back on the podcast show. This message for Freight Train is choo-choo time.
It's time for the nerdiest show on Blog Talk Radio. It's time for Nerdy30s with your hosts, Jeff Griffin, Tony Rice, and Matt Klein.
The chat room is open, the studio has just given us the green light, and the guys are ready to talk nerdy to you.
That's right, America. Welcome, one and all, to another hour-long podcast called Nerdy30s. It's the nerdiest, geekiest podcast in all the land, and we're actually back to full force this week. The Triforce has been reunited, and I'm joined tonight with Jeff Griffith. Jeff, hello.
What's going on, guys?
And Matt Klein. Hello, sir.
Hey.
Jimmy Kelly has the night off. So, one thing I wanted to say right off, Jeff, how was the vacation week, man?
Well, I gotta say, I had a blast. It's just, it feels so good just to get out of town in general, but to be there at a place where you can just go and feel the ocean come up on you, get in the sand a little bit and go hit the swimming pool, and just get away from everything. It's a really relaxing environment, and I can see why people get addicted to the beach. I really could. So I had a blast.
I wish at that moment I would have had like Titanic music to play. It would have sounded so good with your description of the trip. I missed out on an opportunity. So you got to go to the beach. You got to enjoy some fun and sun. And one thing that I wanted to ask about, I'm going to come back to you because we got to see what's going on in the world of Matt Klein. But I'm going to ask you about something in particular, Jeff, so hold on just a second. Matt, how have you been, man? What's going on?
Oh, it's been a roller coaster of a week, but I've been all right, man.
Matt actually got super soldier serum injected into his spine today for everybody that's listening.
Well, Jeff, that was supposed to be top secret information.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's not a secret anymore. So Jeff, tell me about medieval times. I wanted to go there my whole life. Tell me about the experience, if you can.
Well, I was pretty excited about it, and, I think my real exposure to it was actually from the movie Cable Guy. So the whole time I was hoping that I could get in a big brawl with Matthew Broderick out on the sands, but that didn't happen. But no, it was awesome. I mean, I've been to a lot of different dinner shows, Dixie, Stampede, Pirates, Voyage, whatever. But this one to me, now it's interesting though, because I will say Nerdy Wife was not as impressed with it as I was. But I think the reason I liked it so much, to me, there was worked fighting, there was guys taking bumps, and after Luke and I got done, we had a whole section chanting for our night, chanting black and white, to the point that even afterwards in the show, there were people out in the audience, out in the parking lot, chanting black and white. So to me, it kind of felt like a wrestling show. So I think that's why I enjoyed it.
So each section has a different color knight that they're pulling for. Is that what it is?
Yes, and our knight did win, the black and white knight. He came out to that Michael Jackson song, Black or White. He didn't really, but that would have been cool.
I was like, what?
And for those of you that are listening that are familiar with WVCW wrestling, I'll say that our knight, he actually kind of looked a little bit like Steven Michaels back when he had long hair. So that was a bonus too.
Revolution!
Interesting.
Well,
Well, we got
man.
Really quick, I got to let everybody know, working on getting the chat room open. I thought it was, and it looks like it's still buffering, so we'll get that up soon. You can interact with the show at facebook.com, nerdy30s.com. There's all kinds of fun stuff, so you can click on to shop your favorite sites like Amazon or Turtles Custom Graphics. buy Jimmy Kelly's book. I'll have to look up the full title in just a moment because I did not get to do that yet. Yard Seller's Guide to Buying the 25 NES Games That Can Make You Money. That's what I call it. That may not be the official title. We've got a link on the page to it. Also, Jeff, a big guest coming up. I'm actually going to go and try to get them in the green room, get them ready for the show. Tell everybody all about who we have coming on here at the top of the show.
Okay. I'm going to give him the opportunity to kind of tell a little bit about himself when he gets on. However, I will say that there's certain guests that I have wanted to get on this show from the beginning. And when I make that list, right at the top of that list would be this guest. It's Tom Scioli. And that might be a name that if you only read Marvel or DC books, maybe that's a name that you're not familiar with yet. However, if you have your toes tapped into the independent comic book scene at all, there's absolutely no way that you don't know this name. Tom Scioli is an absolute beast of an artist. He's worked on so many projects. He's done stuff for Image Comics when he actually him and Joe Casey did Godland. He's did stuff for Ad House with American Barbarian, his web series that he got published as a hardcover. And what I'm really interested to talk to him about is he's getting ready to be very buzzworthy and really huge because he's got a new series that's starting in a couple weeks. The issue 0 already dropped on Pre-Comic Book Day, and it's Transformers versus G.I. Joe. And when you guys get the chance to actually see his vision for these characters in this universe and how different it is than any other take you've ever saw on it, it's absolutely going to be an eye-opener for all of you. So I can't wait to actually just get in here and talk with Tom about all this. And just his beginnings in the comic book world and just his view on comics in general right now. So it's going to be an awesome opportunity to talk with someone who I consider to be one of the very best. Very excited about that. And actually, it looks like we're getting the thumbs up from the green room. It looks like we actually have Tom on the line. Tom, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Tom, welcome to Nerdy30s.
Thanks, guys.
Now, we appreciate you coming on so much, man. I was actually just talking about trying to kind of give people a heads up about some of the projects you've done in the past, and we'll get into all that. I guess the first thing that I will ask you, though, because Tony told me to introduce you to people, I thought it would be kind of cool if you would just take a moment and kind of tell people, what is your beginnings, I guess we would say, in the comic book industry. What did you, how did you become involved to begin with?
Well, I started out doing self-published, creator-owned independent work, and so, the first thing I did was a series called The Myth of 8 Opus, which was sort of like a Kirby-esque sci-fi adventure, War of the Gods kind of story, and I applied for the Xeric grant to sort of do that as like an actual comic. It was like a series of zines prior to that, and I got the grant and was able to do it and put it out, get it distributed through Diamond, and so that was kind of the beginning. That's what sort of led to everything else.
Right, and was that really one of the first things that kind of maybe got the attention, maybe got you on the radar to where you was able to do Godland?
Yeah, exactly. It got like Eric Larson's attention and some other people's attention, and it was through Eric that he introduced me to Joe Casey and got us together and said you two guys put your heads together and see what you can come up with, and then that was Godland.
Right, and also that was actually that was my first introduction to you as a creator, because I actually was on another podcast. It was actually on the 11 O'Clock Comics podcast. I heard him talking about Godland, and I wanted to check it out. And from the moment I saw your work, I was completely enthralled with it. And I guess a question I want to ask you, because a lot of people, the first thing when they describe Tom Scioli artwork is they will automatically bring up the Jack Kirby comparison. And right. I guess I wanted to ask you, is that something that you are happy about, or do you get tired of hearing the Kirby comparison? Or, I mean, are you, what's your opinion on that?
No, not at all. I mean, that was something I deliberately pursued. From the very beginning, I, was so fond of Kirby's work, his storytelling, and his art. that I wanted to do something like that. I didn't start out drawing like Kirby. It was something I deliberately forced myself to do and practiced and pursued, and then it just kind of stuck. So no, I'm not surprised by it. I'm not bored with it. I mean, it's a perfectly accurate descriptor.
Well, yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. Because Kirby's. I think it's safe to say for a lot of people, he's my all-time favorite artist, and he's the king. I get that same energy and vibe from your work that I get from his, and that's what I love about it.
Thanks. I do find that like one of the sort of side effects of being influenced by somebody is you sort of pick up some of their other qualities other than just sort of like surface things. And one of the things that defines Kirby is just this sort of like limitless imagination, just an ability to just constantly create, and I feel like a little bit of that rubbed off on me too. So among other things. So that's not a bad thing to have rub off on you. Absolutely not. And you talk about that. I mean, honestly, American Barbarian to me, to this day, I can just sit and stare at this. And you talk about the unlimited creativity. That's a project that I think that maybe before it's over with, once people latch on to this next project you have coming out in a few weeks, I think everybody's going to be going back and checking out American Barbarian, and I think that thing's going to end up being a very important work for a lot of people that haven't experienced it yet. Yeah, I hope so. I really created that to be, I put so much work into American Barbarian, and I really created that to be like sort of, something that I wanted to put next to sort of like the great works of sort of, like pop comics of like something alongside like Dark Knight Returns and things like that. So, I hope you're right. I think it's got those qualities, Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. Now, we talked about your next project, and I can't wait to get into that with you. I got to talk with you a little bit about it at Heroes, but what I'm talking about is, of course, Transformers versus G.I. Joe. That's from IDW. That Zero issue on Free Comic Book Day was honestly one of my favorite things I've read all summer. It blew me away. And what's the response been like for that so far? Because I can't imagine anybody being anything but excited about it. Yeah, the response has been pretty much as you described it. It was something that we sort of kept it under wraps for a long time. We it was really important to me not to have it spoiled. There's so many sort of twists in it, and so exactly what I had hoped would happen happened. That it sort of took people by surprise. They didn't see it coming, and their guard was down, and they were just like really hit with basically like 16 pages of the best that I have to offer. Like I really worked incredibly hard on every panel, every story beat. Like I really wanted that thing to just shine, because I knew it was when you have a book that's like a Free Comic Book Day book from a publisher, a lot of people are going to see it, and it's going to be their introduction to your work. There's going to be a lot of people who never heard of me, and this is their this is my chance to speak to them, and I didn't want there to be any room for error. Now, did you grow up a huge Transformers and G.I. Joe fan, or is this something that you've recently latched onto after getting this project? I grew up with them, and I enjoyed them alongside a million other things. Like I watched every episode of G.I. Joe from the beginning. I watched every episode of Transformers from the beginning as a kid, and I loved them, particularly Transformers, because I was such a sci-fi fan, and I was the right age for it, and I was there from like that very first episode of like the first mini-series, where it starts out on Cybertron, and it's all very alien. You see all these weird spaceships that turn into robots that they don't even look like cars yet. And I tried to reference some of that in the comic itself. So I sort of like some of my friends have sort of carried their their fandom for Transformers or G.I. Joe with them, like as they got older. But for me, it was sort of something that, I was into as a kid, and then both of those series sort of ended, and it was, I was kind of like the right age to sort of move on to other things. So I didn't, sort of carry them into adulthood the way some of my friends have. But I did sort of when Dreamwave started publishing Transformers comics, and then IDW eventually like picked up from there. I did occasionally check in with the Transformers comics and read them, but yeah, it wasn't until I got this assignment that I really sort of dove head first back into both of those worlds, and particularly G.I. Joe, because I hadn't read any of the G.I. Joe comics except for the silent issue with Snake Eyes, which I did like a lot.
I was going to ask you if you was much into the Transformers and G.I. Joe comics growing up. My first comic that I ever actually bought myself was a G.I. Joe, one of those old Larry Hama G.I. Joes. Mm-hmm. I think it was issue 18, if I'm not mistaken, and that was what hooked me on comics. And I think those comics were amazing.
That's what I learned having gotten this assignment. Just how great those comics are, particularly the G.I. Joe ones, and so many people my age or around my age, that was, like you described, it was like their introduction to comics. I don't know how I missed it. I think part of it was probably that by the time I was sort of ready to start really reading comics and getting into comics, I'd sort of outgrown some of like the sillier aspects that I saw in the G.I. Joe cartoons, and so
right.
Some of the cheesier parts, and so I thought that that's what the comics were too. I thought the comics were going to be more of that, more of the sort of cheesiness, but they're not. They're really just good adventure comics, and I sort of wish I had checked them out when I was a kid, because I think I would have loved them. But then I'm also kind of glad that I got to save all that enjoyment for adulthood when you really need it.
Right, absolutely. I heard you tell the story a few weeks ago about picking up the final issue, and I've never got the chance to read that either, and you made me really want to go back and check it out.
Yeah, I've since found out that that IDW reprinted it in a Treasury-sized edition, along with the first issue and a couple other things. They did like a Treasury-sized reprint, and that's in there too. So
wow.
You could track that down. But yeah, it was just a phenomenal final, like one, maybe the best final issue of any comic I've ever read. It was just so good. Like I think it should be wider read than it is. Like I think even if you've never, G.I. Joe is one of those things that like everybody kind of knows on some level, to varying degrees. So even if you've never read a G.I. Joe comic, it's just like this really great send-off to this, familiar, icon.
Right. Absolutely. I'm going to track that down. Like I said, you got my fires burning on that one, man. Now, did you get a chance? In fact, I know you did. I saw that you posted the review. I didn't get a chance to read it yet. I've been on vacation, but I saw that you reviewed Transformers 4. Is there anything you'd like to say about that? Because how was it? Is it? I mean,
read the review, but it was a weird movie. I mean, that's a weird movie, and there's like it's not like I can't say whether it was a good movie or not. Because I kind of don't know. I mean, by the rules of what constitutes a good movie, I'd say no, it's not a good movie. But it's packed so tightly with all kinds of insane things. And like the worst thing I can say about a movie is it's boring, and that was not a boring movie. It was really really crazy. Like just they threw everything at the wall, and nothing stuck. They'd introduce all kinds of plot elements where you thought, okay, they're going to come back to this. This is going to lead to, and none of them led to anything. It was this sort of, shotgun approach to telling a story. But, I that kind of works for me, So,
right.
So it's hard to say.
Well, I got to say though, regardless, the fact that a movie that big has came out this close to the comic launching, I have to think that would be a boon for you, as far as as far as
totally to have a big movie like that just destroys at the box office and have the title be pretty close to what the title of my comic, basically you just add versus G.I. Joe to it and it's the same title. So yeah, that has been a really big help. And the book, that's a big part of what I think, makes the book a hit, to start with is having something like that with it. So yeah, totally.
Awesome. Now, when does the first issue drop?
The 23rd, July 23rd.
Okay, so not very long at all.
It would have been perfect if it came out, that week or that weekend. That would have been perfect. But this is sort of, this is close enough. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, have you? I don't guess there's any way to really predict this yet, but I'm sure sales are going to be high on it. Do you have? What I was going to say is, do you have like a planned length for this? Is it like a mini series, or is it going to be like ongoing as far as?
It's an ongoing. It's like a regular comic. It's going to come out, every month. Hopefully forever. It's open ended. I have big plans for it. I want to make it basically a universe, like one of the great comics universes. That's what I'm shooting for. Me and John are telling a really big story, and with a massive cast of characters that spans, millennia. So that's what we're gunning for. We're gunning for the Marvel universe and the DC universe. We want to make something that's at that level and then better is what we're shooting for.
That's awesome, and that puts a smile on my face. And my co-host Matt was sitting here. He's smiling too. He's just as excited. He hadn't had a chance to read it yet. He read it like right before we went on the air, and he was texting me on my way over here. He was just like going on about how much he loved it too. So Matt, have you got anything you'd like to ask Tom?
Oh man, just want to say very excited for the issue number 1 coming out. It was everything that I wanted the book to be when I picked it up. So good job and thank you.
Thanks.
I got to ask you. We talked a little bit about it at Heroes Con that day. The scene, and I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't read it yet. But I'll just say the scene with Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander. And anybody that's read it knows what I'm talking about. Did you have any trouble with stuff like that as far as the license? Are they cool with you taking chances like that, or are they, they give you any flack over anything?
Not at all. No, that particular thing. No, they didn't have any problem with. They were fine with. 100%. That one wasn't an issue at all.
Well, that was a real hallmark moment of the book, and I think just stuff like that I think that's what's going to keep people coming back, is because it's these characters that we saw on T-shirts and cartoons and movies for years, but we're getting like this fresh new take on them that's still true to the characters, and I think that's where you're really succeeding with this, man. Plus the artwork's just beautiful, of course, but we already knew that.
Thanks.
But,
I mean the art, like in issue 1, the next issue, the one that premieres in a couple weeks, it's like the art is a whole different level. It's actually like a new look that my works never had before. It was kind of like this sort of breakthrough that I had like in the course of making issue 0. Like I went through this sort of like almost transformation where it was just sort of a natural culmination of different things I'd been doing in different series in some of my web comics and that like art wise I can't wait until issue 1 comes out, because I think it's really if you liked my work before, I think this is like taking it to another level.
Very cool, man. Very cool. I love to see that evolution too. Yeah, no doubt about that.
I hope to keep it up on an issue to issue bit. Like I hope that issue 2 is a totally different evolution. Like I really want to like allow that aspect of it too. I think of all the things that I love about comics and the work of Jack Kirby or the work of Steve Ditko, where like you see these universes just sort of evolve out of somebody's quirky personal style, and you see that in like when you think about just like the first 80 issues of Fantastic Four. Like all the characters that are introduced, all the worlds that are introduced, and then just watching like Kirby transform from the sort of kinetic draftsman, that he was in sort of the 40s and 50s into like what we know of as the Kirby style. Like it's just so much fun to watch, and I hope, like I'm trying to sort of allow myself the latitude to do that too, to play around and see what happens.
That's amazing too. I love to hear just like that growth as an artist, and that's something I can't wait to take that journey with you on that as well. Now, I guess another question that I did have for you. I know this is going to be very involved with you. Is there going to be, I don't know as far as your time frame or like, if you're working, are you going to have time to do other stuff as well, or is this pretty much going to be the only focus for a while? As far as I'm going to see other stuff like American Barbarian or more Satan Soldier, stuff like that.
I mean, it's gonna be the main focus. I mean, this is my job, and this is like the sort of assignment that I've always wanted, like something like this, something that where there's like a definite audience for it, and so like I'm just going to put everything I have into it. I don't see there being a lot of time for other things. Like any other thing that I work on in addition to this will be to support this. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you need to just to clear your head, you need to like maybe work on something else and so like I might work on some things here and there just on the side, just to sort of give myself a little break, but with the idea of it's going to just make Transformers versus G.I. Joe that much better. So yeah, this really is my top priority. I've sort of cleared off everything else to make room for this, and this is it for me. Like I feel like if you have your comic, your gig, and it's creatively fulfilling and it pays the bills, then like you can just fully invest yourself in it, for however long it lasts, and I think the quality of it will determine, just how long it lasts, and I plan on making it the best thing I'm capable of.
I have no doubt that you will. Now, I saw that you this weekend, it looks like you're going to have an appearance with Jim Rugg and Ed Pisker and the guys from the Ad House books at the
Chris
Chapel
Pitzer.
Hill Comics. So would you want to tell people about that?
Yeah, we're going to be going to Chapel Hill Comics. Andrew Neal, who's owned Chapel Hill Comics for all these years, he's a great retailer, and he just sold the store. He sort of accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish in comics. He's got somebody, it's one of those sort of golden parachute kind of things where you find somebody who wants to buy your business from you and offers you like an amount of money you just can't say no to. So we're going to have a big, blowout party to sort of celebrate that. And so like I'll be there and with early copies of Transformers versus G.I. Joe #1. That'll actually be like the first place you can get it. And Jim will be there with the reprint of Street Angel, which Chris Pitzer is publishing, and then Ed will be there with Hip Hop Family Tree. So yeah, it's just going to be a really good time. I'm looking forward to. I'm picturing a lot of revelry. I'm picturing Andrew Neal on some kind of throne or something, and everybody's sort of like lifting him up in the air. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then yeah.
I was gonna say, it sounds almost like a little mini Heroes Con after party.
Yeah, it seems like it's all the people I usually hang out with at Heroes Con, except this year Ed Pisker wasn't able to make it to Heroes Con for the first time in years because he was in Germany for Hip Hop Family Tree and WYSIWYG are like I think Hip Hop Family Tree was like the #1 graphic novel in Germany, so he sort of had to go there. But so it'll be.
He's blew up large with that thing, man.
yeah, it's a worldwide phenomenon for sure.
Absolutely.
So it'll be better than Heroes Con if such a thing's possible.
Wow, I wish there was a way I could make it down there. Unfortunately, I'm going to be tied up this weekend. But I saw the post about it, and I was like, man, I'd love to. I think that's going to be a good time for everybody involved. So if anybody's listening to the show, be sure and check that out this weekend. Well, Tom, before we let you go, because we have a few more things we have to get up with, I just wanted to give you a chance to tell people how they can find you on the internet, and that way they can keep up with your project.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Tom Scioli, TOMSCIOLI. You can go to my website, ambarb.com. It's the abbreviated version of American Barbarian. It's AMBARB.com. And, find me there. I'm also doing a couple more appearances next week. I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con at the IDW booth. So just look for me. I'll be everywhere.
Awesome, man. I have no doubt you're going to be everywhere. Just like I said, I have a feeling this book's going to be very large, man. And everybody's going to be checking it out. So, Tom, we want to thank you so much for taking time to talk to us this evening, and it's been a pleasure, and I hope we can do it again sometime, man.
For sure. I had a great time, and there's a new issue every month, so I'm sure we'll have an excuse to get together again at some point in the not too distant future.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, like I said, we just want to thank you, and you take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks so much.
Good night.
Bye.
And we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Looking to customize your own t-shirt, your home, your office, your automobile? Well, you can do it all with Turtles Custom Graphics. That's right, Turtles Custom Graphics lets you customize literally everything. Just look for them on Facebook under Turtles Custom Graphics.
I love nothing better than that sound effect turned up really loud on surround sound. It's just so much fun. Hey, guys, now we're going to talk about some movie and TV news. And, Jeff, the movie we were just talking about before the break, Transformers Age of Extinction, guess what it's ranking at on Rotten Tomatoes? Don't cheat and look. What do you think it's at in its freshness percentage?
This is a ballpark guess. I'm going to say 45%.
Okay. Matt.
Well, before Jeff said that, my plan was going to say 47%, but I'm going to go different with that now. I'm going to say 62% as a guess. Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, it's actually 17, not 70.
Oh!
17%. Yikes. So anyway, I have heard, just as Tom Scioli told us, I've heard a lot of people say really good things about it. I've heard some bad things. The fact of the matter, it looks like it's top moneymaker right now, somehow beating out Tammy, that's rated at 24% fresh.
Well, let me ask you this. Just from what Tom was saying there, because I will tell you, if you'll remember a few weeks ago on the show, I said I had no plans on watching it. I had no intentions of watching it.
Mm-hmm.
From the things that he said about it, and just like the craziness of it, does that influence your want to see it anymore? Because it actually does me a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Just the craziness factor. The way he said that, like nothing, like they don't go back to any of the plots. It's like it sounds like an anarchy, like a movie that's basically anarchy in movie form.
So bad, it's good.
Yeah. Well, if you notice, Tom never said it was good or bad. He just said weird.
Yeah.
He said weird many times.
Yeah. He did. And that's fair. Jeff, have you heard more about my son? Have you got to see this yet?
I have not.
I just wondered. It's hovering around 50%. And I really want to see this one.
It's a real hit or miss movie, so 50% sounds about right for me. It seems like it's people either love it or hate it. I haven't really heard a lot of likes. It's either I've loved it or I've hated it.
Okay. I've heard that. I've heard Disney is planning other similar releases based off typical princess fairy tales with different twists or plot lines. Is this true, like a Sleeping Beauty or something? I mean, not Sleeping Beauty, excuse me, Cinderella.
Yeah, I've heard rumors of Cinderella. The rumor that was going around today in the Disney community was a Dumbo, a live-action Dumbo movie. That was the word going around the Disney fan community today.
Operation Dumbo Drop?
No, an actual Dumbo movie. Now, I don't know anything else about that. That was the word going around.
Dude, I don't know about that.
I don't either, to be honest.
You got Maleficent and you're going downhill with the live action. Okay, let me say one thing, though. Back when Disney used to do those, I think it was Disney, and I could be wrong, Jeff, you may remember the live-action movies, like documentary, like docudrama that they would do, like Charlie the Lonesome Cougar.
Yeah, like the one with the Disney, I forget what the actual, they were like Disney Nature. No, they were like Disney, I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like the one where they had they threw the,
they killed all the lemmings.
They threw the lemmings off the cliff, yeah.
They should have took a species of animal to extinction. That's not even a secret.
But they got an Oscar for it.
How did they get away with it?
It's a different time, man.
It was, it's not even a secret.
It's a different time now.
It is. You're right. It is, but like that, movies like that as a kid, I loved them to hear that narrator talk about old Charlie the Lonesome Cougar and stuff like that. I just don't know about a live-action Dumbo. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea, man. I don't know what to think.
Have you watched any of the recent Disney nature films?
I have watched, not Blue, I'm trying to think what it's called now, man. Oceans?
Yeah.
I've seen that one. And I've seen...
Have you saw the monkey one? I think it's called Chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee, I've seen it with the kids. The kids loved that. They loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was frightening at times for them, I'll be honest. They were frightened a little bit.
You realize there's one out right now, narrated by John C. Reilly.
Nuh-uh.
I promise you, there is. It's about a bear. I'm not even joking.
Pencil's a bear?
No, I wish.
Wow. I don't know.
But, yes, there's a John C. Reilly Disney nature film currently in theaters.
Wow, I did not know that. That's actually pretty cool. I'll have to look into that. Does it have a guest appearance by Will Ferrell as like a friendly raccoon or another outdoor animal?
If not, it should. I don't know for sure. I don't know anything much about it except for I was looking the other night. It seemed like I remember the last time I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, it was actually really highly rated. I'm trying to find it now.
I think there should be a scene with the bear and maybe a coyote, and they get into some trouble together, and then the bear looks at Coyote and says, "Did we just become best friends?" And the Coyote says, "Yep." I think that would be hilarious, but I might watch it for that.
That sounds like a moneymaker.
You know, I got to say, I can't find anything about it here. Maybe I made this whole thing up.
Whoa.
But I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I remember reading about it.
Well, there's a new teaser trailer. Before I get to the other item I wanted to talk to you about for sure, a new teaser trailer for the new Hunger Games just came out. So that's got people in a buzz. And, of course, we know they had to rewrite some parts due to the tragic death this year of Philip Seymour Hoffman. So they'll be working that out. But speaking of raccoon, Rocket and his gang, we saw the new trailer also for Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
I'm going to tell you what. I watched that trailer.
Uh-huh.
That trailer, I won't say exactly how I said about it earlier before we started recording. I'll just say it punched me in the nether. That movie that trailer punched me in the nether region. I could not be physically any more excited for a film than I am for this. That trailer is phenomenal, and we got a lot better looks at Ronan the Accuser in this. We got a lot more shots of him in action. And now, I don't know if you saw or not, but they actually did a 17-minute preview at some IMAX theaters, and really positive. A lot of positive reviews coming out about that. And interestingly enough, a lot of people that saw those reviews or that preview are saying that Drax the Destroyer, played by Batista, really came alive in that preview. A lot of people saying that he was actually the biggest surprise and that he was maybe going to end up being a lot of people's favorite character after seeing that. And that was, honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all the Guardians. But, like, he was,
right.
He was the one I was probably the least excited about coming into it. So it was pretty positive to hear that kind of a word of mouth, I think.
Blue cheese to
green cheese to. Yeah. Kind of green tea.
Last thing before we move on to some wrestling talk, I wanted to throw this out there too. We all know, first of all, we're all going together to watch Guardians, right?
Oh yeah.
Nobody's going to sneak off. We're going to plan a day. Oh yeah. Or at least I want to go watch it with you guys, Jeff. If you go, I won't be able to make a midnight show probably this year, but if you happen to go, you need to go back and watch it with us. So I'm going to say we need to watch this one together. I haven't watched a movie in so long, man. I've missed so many movies I want to see this summer, but I just don't have the time to go to the theater or don't feel like going. So Nothing has brought me out, but I know this one will. And here's one, though. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I know it's supposed to be really good, but I was surprised it's getting 98% fresh marks.
Whoa. It looks amazing, dude. The commercials look great.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of all the old Planet of the Apes, the whole series, and then, of course, the new one that came out. I enjoyed it, too. So any other final words you got before we move into the last segment, gentlemen?
I'll just throw this out there real quick. If you're a fan of the old Planet of the Apes, they've just recently re-released in a collection. You can get all of the Blu-rays from the old movies in a set for like under $20. And you can get that on Amazon. You can actually go to that link through Nerdy30s.com, order it, pay less than $20 to have every one of the old Planet of the Apes movies on Blu-ray. Beautiful transfer, I'm sure. And I actually picked up one myself. I can't wait to go back and watch them with the kids because they've never saw them. And
wow.
There you go. Go to that Nerdy30s.com and order it there. That way it helps the show out a little bit too. And it will cost you a dime more than what if you did without either. There's no extra charge. So all you're doing is helping the show out.
Jeff, my mind is blown. I would have thought you paid $50 for that probably.
No, under $20.
Oh my gosh! So here's another thing too. My kids, I let the kids watch it. The old one. I mean, like the old back then, it was rated G. Nowadays, who knows what they'd say it would be rated? But
they're all rated G except one. There's one that's I think it's I forget. There's one of the five that it might be. One of them's rated PG. All the others are rated G.
Okay. Yeah. Usually they uprate them after so many years. But yeah. Anyway, my point is, my kids are convinced that that's a historical documentary of a race of ape people. That those were actually people walking and talking as apes. So it's really fun, and that mixed with the fact, and I'll talk about this when I get more information next week, of the lost town or lost amusement park about the Wizard of Oz that I saw on a Facebook post that I've actually read about. You can book Dorothy's Cabin for the weekend and visit the abandoned amusement park that was closed in 1980. And walk the Yellow Brick Road, visit the Witch's Castle, and all these other things that have been left. And once a year, these people get together in North Carolina and have a reunion weekend. And my kids now think that I have found the lost city of Oz, and that I'm taking them there. Like, they think it's the Oz. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. It's going to be spooky, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, so, you want me to blow your mind?
Yeah.
I've been to that park when I was a kid.
Oh, my gosh.
But the funny thing is, I have very vague memories of it. I was like, it had to have been like 79 or 80, so I was in like pre-kindergarten. Like, I'd have been like pre-K age. I was scared of everything when I was a kid, literally. Like, I was scared of tunnels. I was scared of hills. I was scared of everything. We got to the place. I can remember, the only memory that I have was when we got there, it came this huge storm, and I threw this crying fit, and I can remember that, like being scared to death. Like, my family all went, and my mom had to sit at the entrance with me the whole time.
Oh. Well, I plan on going back, and it's like I said, you can rent the house on the weekend. The park is right there, so it's like going in the abandoned. It would be like the twisted side of Oz because it's like bricks are missing from the road, but still there. And anyway, we got to move on, or we're going to run out of time. So we'll talk about that after I get more information. Here we go.
Tonight's wrestling segment on Nerdy 30s is brought to you by a place to talk about pro wrestling. Look for us on Facebook.com under the group A Place to Talk About Pro Wrestling. Tell them Nerdy30s sent you.
Please do. And Jeff and Matt, enlighten us.
Well, I guess to me, one of the bigger stories that came out of this last weekend was the retirement of a guy that's been around. I mean, he's been a stalwart. He's been around for so long at this point, and not a guy that you really think of as being a top guy, maybe not a main eventer. But the few times that they've teased him in that spot, the crowd reacted mighty hard to it. And, of course, I'm talking about Santino Marella. He announced at a house show in Canada this weekend that he has re-injured his neck. He's going to need a third neck surgery, and that he is retiring from active competition.
Yeah, man. Santino is what he is there, but nonetheless, he's been a solid entertainer for a number of years for us, and it's you hate to see that. And then tonight, you spoke this right before the show, at least from the team stream, saying that Daniel Bryan is out at this time indefinitely, and will have to undergo a second surgery. So, grim week.
Yeah, apparently the shoulder, they found some real damage in the shoulder as well. And, guys, I hate to say it, but it's not looking good. There was already reports coming out last week that there's a real chance that career could be over. And just hearing this news on top of that, it's got me pretty bummed out because he's my favorite wrestler to begin with. But just the timing of it. But it all, I don't know, man. If this is it for Bryan, I guess you could at least say that he literally retired the champion.
That he did or will or whatever.
Yeah, he was never beat for that belt. And what a way to go out to say that you won the world title at WrestleMania 30. Man, I hope it's not the end. I really do.
Yeah, me too, man. That was a bummer seeing that, even though, we'd heard the rumors a little bit, but seeing that, and that still could not be 100% accurate, I suppose. Who knows? But, yeah, it was a bummer.
In other weird wrestling news, did you guys touch on the Emma situation last week?
Well, we got into it slightly, so we talked about it a little bit.
Okay, I didn't know. I was just wondering, because do you think that could have anything to do with why Santino is retiring?
Well, he's bummed out. He didn't like the way she got treated. That's his girl.
But no, I love Emma, man. So but from what I've read, that she accidentally took it out from a self-checkout is actually very believable. I could see how that would be very easy to do.
We talked about that, and we all agreed it's very, very easy to do.
Yeah, no doubt about that. What do you, Matt, we're coming up now. We're right in the middle of building to the next pay-per-view. We're looking at...
it's a rush one.
It is. What do you feel about the direction right now with the main event scene, the four-way match coming up? Are you excited?
Not really, to be honest with you. I'll watch it and it'll probably be enjoyable to me, but I'm not happy this is the direction we're getting. At the same time, I can't sit here and make an argument for what I would do differently. I would probably, I guess, but I'm just saying it's just kind of where we're at. Now, I'm really enjoying the Seth and Dean stuff, so that's the saving grace.
That's the hottest thing going right now. That, to me, feels like the main event program as far as fan involvement. Do you see both of these guys moving on up to that main event level after this feud?
I think it's no question. I think you're seeing them inserted into it right now, especially, Rollins has the briefcase. So there's that. Then Ambrose stopping the cash in every time so far, man. I've popped every time, and I know what's coming, but I love it. Awesome. Titty Master!
He is the Titty Master. He's I would say, in lieu of Daniel Bryan being on television, it's a real close race between him and Cesaro as far as my favorite guy in WWE right now. That's the two I most enjoy. Although I think the booking right now with Cesaro feels a little weird. I feel like they're treading water with him.
Yeah.
It's like they're waiting on something that I don't know what they're waiting on.
Right.
And I really hope that I saw that happen with guys before, that they treaded water long enough and then they just let them sink. And I do worry about that with Cesaro. The one saving grace he has is that he's just such a phenomenal worker that I think they're going to have a hard time burying him too much. Which I don't. Not that I'm saying I think they're going to bury him. What about seeing West Virginia icon, a friend of ours, Jamie Noble on TV this week?
Yeah, man, got in there, took a spiel. It was neat. I popped, of course. So yeah, it was cool. Good job, Jamie. Good job.
I agree. I was wanting more of it. I was wanting him to jump up, and I think they should have booked it for the. They should have booked Finley and Jamie versus Roman Reigns in a handicap match for later in the night.
God, that would have been so awesome, man. Finley too. I mean, obviously, Jamie's her buddy, but love me some Finley.
Oh yeah, Finley's the man, dude. They've got so much. It's crazy when all those the agents ran out. How much have they got that are just agents, man? Guys, Malenko, Finley, even Joey Mercury. I mean, he was a talented guy. I mean, all these guys, man. Of course, Jamie. It's crazy to think what kind of talent they've got back there as agents.
It is. Well, I guess that's why we do get some good stuff on occasion. I think fairly often here recently, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's no reason it shouldn't be good with the people that's around the WWE.
All I'll say is this, and I won't do too much inside baseball stuff here.
Yeah.
But the matches that I feel that I'm pretty sure our buddy Jamie's had his fingerprints on has really been the highlights of stuff of pretty much the last 2 years.
Well, Jeff, I had this conversation earlier this week, and not to get weird about it, but yeah, you're 100% right though.
Yeah, that guy's got such a mind for the business, you can tell. It's just amazing. I'd like to get him on here sometime.
I would too. Maybe he can fly in and join us.
Yeah, maybe. And I guess that would actually perfectly segue into our next segment. Dead air.
Yeah, you're ahead 1 minute. You jumped ahead on me by 1 minute. So here we go.
Oh, there we go. Three rapid-fire questions going back and forth between the hosts, where we try to stump each other. I don't know where I'm going with this.
You will not stump me any time, sir.
I'm going to stump pull you. Stump puller. Anyway, my question this week, guys, earlier tonight on the show, we had one of my guests that I've been wanting for a long time, so much so that I would say he was a dream guest. I wanted Tom Scioli on really bad, and I was honored to interview him. My question for you guys would be, who are three people that, from any walk of life that you would love to have on as a guest for the show sometimes? Tony, I'm swinging it to you first.
I would like to have Alan Oppenheimer on, the voice of Skeletor.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Now, do you think that you would get heat with Mr. Oppenheimer because of your take on the Skeletor character?
The people that do imitations normally know that literally mimicry is the highest form of flattery, so I don't think he would be offended at all. I think he'd be happy to know I would try, and I'm not as good as him, but it would be fun to have him on and go head-to-head with him.
I would love that, and I hope that happens someday. Tony, you got the baseball. Who are you going to throw it at?
I'm going to throw it over at Matt.
Oh, I missed it. I'm picking it up out of the floor. But anyway,
okay.
I guess, oh, man, mine would be Ric Flair.
Woo! Woo!
That would be possibly chaotic and a whole load of fun.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that would be like, to be honest. I would be very nervous to talk to Rick, to be honest. Yeah, that would be a good one, though. All right, so I guess it's my turn. And for my first pick, I want to surprise you guys because it's somebody that I would love to talk to. We talk about movies all the time. Somebody that I love all of his movies, even the bad ones. I would love to have Will Ferrell on as a guest. I think Will Ferrell would be an amazing guest, and maybe someday that can happen. That would be cool. Tony?
I think I got to stick with the same kind of line, and mainly tonight because of Tom Scioli's interview. But this comic book, I was just sitting there thinking, Chris Latta, or Latta, as some people say, did the voice of Cobra Commander and Starscream. So I think it would be awesome to have that guy on because he did pass away, unfortunately. Just people that don't know that. He was the original voice of Cover Commander. I just think it would be fun to talk to him also. I get a kick out of just that voice that he can do.
I try to do what I do, and it hurts, and I have to drink water. So for this guy to have done a whole series of cartoons with that raspy, strangled voice is just amazing to me. That's just another person I'd like to actually talk to about the business.
I think my next one, someone sitting here trying to ponder on it, I would like to have on and think would be interesting, maybe more so several years ago than now, but George A. Romero would be a very interesting interview.
Wow. Yeah, I wonder if we can make that happen. I think we could. Let's work on that. Let's work on getting George Romero on the show. That's a good one, Matt. So far, these have all been great. I would love to have all these guests, even the dead man Tony was just speaking about. We'll speak with him to the grave. My next one that I'm going to pick is from the wrestling world. He's a guy and another one that I think probably could happen with the right circumstances. But I've just always loved the guy. Loved his books. I've loved everything he's done in the ring. I've loved, just seems like a genuine guy. Mick Foley. I think Mick Foley would be an awesome guest, and that's somebody I would love to have on the show someday.
That would be amazing. Man, that would be amazing.
And Tony, you're up.
I don't know why, but she just popped in my head like she does every so often. But I think I would like to interview and have on fellow nerd lady, Felicia. You've made my day. So, Felicia, if you're listening, I'd love to have you on the podcast.
I knew you were going to say that, Tony. I knew it.
She didn't answer my direct tweet, but that's okay. You don't have to. I know you got it. That's cool.
No, she answered it, but she didn't answer it to you. She answered it to the L.A. Police Department when she filed that restraining order.
Good times. Great oldie.
I will go with back to the wrestling world, but again, just because I think it would be fun and it would be interesting because we could have once again a match-off kind of thing. Is pick Dusty Rhodes.
Oh wow! Yeah, I would love that. We could have him, Tony, and Stevie Ray Ramsey, our friend of the show. All of you guys on at once trying to talk like Dusty, and we see who can do it better.
You out Dusty.
Wow, that would be amazing if you. Yeah, I don't think you can, but that'd be amazing.
For my final one, this one it may kind of some people may not get it, but I thought about this a lot. And when I think about important comic books, I really think of the X-Men run in the 80s with the Dark Phoenix saga, with the Days of Future Past, all these storylines that really helped shape, the mutant universe. And I really think about Chris Claremont, who was the writer of all that stuff. And Chris Claremont's a guy that I'd really like to sit down and talk with because he's done so much stuff other than that too. But really just to talk about, how influential that X-Men run was in the 80s. And I would really like to talk to Claremont. So he would be high on my list. So I would say I would make him my third pick. And that would appear to be that's a good way to finish the show. Very timely. We want to thank everybody for listening tonight. Huge thank you goes out to Tom Scioli for taking the time to talk with us. I know he's a very busy man right now getting ready for the launch of his new book. Everybody be sure and pre-order this book. Get it. You're going to regret it if you don't. Tony, if they want to get in touch with us throughout the week, how can they do so?
There's several ways. They can hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Nerdy30s, Facebook.com/Nerdy30. Go to our webpage, Nerdy30s.com, like Jeff said. Buy through the Amazon link. Help us out and spend no more money on your part. Also visit the Turtles Custom Graphics store link that's there. You can also email the show, Nerdy30s@gmail.com.
Guess that's about it.
We want to thank everybody for listening. And America, if you're out there, we love you. Keep it nerdy.